This is Spinda. You can probably tell the name here. This is Spinda. So, you might be wondering why am I making a video about Spinda over here? Well, first of all, I've already made a video about getting a Namorous and Manaphy, so I'm using this time. I might as well make this too. But I want to quickly talk about this whole Pokédex entries over here, and like how Spinda always has like several billion forms or something. How so many people talking about like Pokemon forms. The first thing you talk about is Spinda. I've made videos about this, but like this is mostly on like secondhand or like mostly just side note content. But I want to make this the main note here. So notice that the Pokemon X Pokédex entry for Spinda, how no two Spinda have the same pattern of spots. How, let's say, Alpha Sapphire say that no two Spinda said the identical spot patterns. And like which one is it that says I'm looking for one that talked about was it I'm looking for Miss Starting Pearl? I don't know. I think there was a Pokédex entry, I forget which. That this is the one, the Y one. How the chance of two Spinda having identical spot patterns is less than 1 in 4 billion, right? So we all know about that, right? This is like common knowledge for people who are aware of Spinda here, right? So take a note at the bottom left corner of the Spinda itself. Let's see if I can put my mouse in it. Like right here, this general area here. Have noticed it's empty. Well, normally, this spot is reserved for Pokemon with multiple forms. Let's get an example. Well, let's do Camerupt here. So, notice that there is a 2/2 here. This is the second of 2 forms, which is Mega Camerupt. How the first 2 forms is Camerupt, and this is Mega Camerupt, right? So you can tell that Spinda does not have a Mega Evolution. Spinda does not have, Gigantamax, that sort of thing. I mean, the shiny doesn't count, and male and female don't count. I mean, in home the home Pokédex don't count, but sometimes they do count for certain Pokemon with gender differences. But for the purpose of home, they don't count. But Spinda, as you can see here, only has a single form. Now I'm wondering, okay, that's weird, but the Y entry says there's less than 4 billion Spinda. Well, that's the 4 billion Spinda. There is more than 4 billion kinds of Spinda, right? But why is there's no form? But here's the thing. For those who want to know, I guess, the whole Spinda pattern thing is more of a calculation based on personality value and like a encryption index for later gens that determine the spot patterns of Spinda. So it's really more of a calculation based on certain numbers than an actual form. So I'm going to take an example of a Pokemon that's something similar to Spinda situation. That is Wurmple. Now, Wurmple has a thing in which it can evolve to either Silcoon or Cascoon, depending on its personality value or personality value encryption index thing. So basically, it's roughly like half and half of a random chance of Wurmple evolving to these. Now the question here is, if there are two ways that Wurmple could evolve into, does that be considered a separate form? I just open question for you. Now another Pokemon that's also like similar but in a different way to Wurmple is Scatterbug and Stupa. These guys. Now, you can tell how I want the shiny form because, showing off. But, like, I can tell that for Scatterbug's case, it's also considered only one form. It's only one of it. However, how the evolution for all of these Vivillon, I meant to describe right, for all these Vivillon is determined by something else. So you can see that there are quite a number of different Vivillon that Scatterbug can evolve into. However, unlike with Wurmple, what pattern evolves into has already been determined the moment you catch it. For example, in Scarlet and Violet, all Scatterbug and Sipo evolve to Fancy Vivillon. So even if you somehow, if there's let's say Legend ZA comes down, Vivillon's in it, right? which why wouldn't it be? That any Scatterbug caught in Scarlet and Violet without any altercation with Pokemon Go's whatever, or alteration with Pokemon Go or whatever, will always evolve into fancy form, which you could technically consider that a sort of alternate form. Because you could say that, oh, there are all these, 18, 19 different Scatterbug forms, even though they only shows one. See, but same thing. Because it's determined. And you can, if you have Go, it's even more noticeably determined that these Scatterbug evolve to a specific pattern. So it's not a random chance. So it's not random each time. So there you go. So the question is, if Scatterbug has a very determined evolution pattern for which pattern it goes into, do you consider it an alternate form? Some people actually do count that as separate forms, and for making a shiny, or not shiny, a regular all forms living dex, they would have all the different Scatterbugs and all different Spupas to go with all different Vivian. Well, not the Pokeball pattern one, because that's still unobtainable. This is still a event-only form, but for all the others, they're still readily attainable. So you could argue you need to having 19 different Scatterbug, 19 different Spupa, one for each of the different patterns of Vivian. However, while you could argue that for Scatterbug, and maybe you could argue that for Wurmple, you cannot argue that for Spinda. Because first of all, how the heck can you even get all the different Spinda? First of all, because all this different Spinda, there's 4 billion or so patterns. How are you going to store them all? Let's say you are tasked to capture every single pattern of Spinda. How are you going to store them?
You gonna catch every form of a Spinda. A Spinda? Wait, they have different forms? Did I say forms? I meant every different pattern. Well, you can't expect me to get 8 billion different Spindas.
I doubt that 4 billion Spinda have ever been stored. I don't, because given how Spinda is, because you can't get out of BDSP, I don't think there are even 4 billion Spinda in all of home for every single home user, entirety of home server. I don't think there are even 4 billion Spinda in home at all, in total. So yeah, that's why when you do it all forms living dex, you only one Spinda. It doesn't matter what pattern Spinda, because it doesn't matter what pattern Spinda it is. And I could argue the same thing with Wurmple. And you could or could not argue with Scatterbug. That is your personal choice. I don't, because I don't want to. And plus I don't need to. Nor have a desire to, for Scatterbug's case. But just want to let you know, just because there are various patterns of Spinda doesn't mean they're considered alternate forms. Alright, I just want to leave this with you for this video. Alright, got nothing more to say here, so here's a dancing shiny Spinda, and see you guys later.